I won't pretend to understand what goes on inside of Grief Manual or any other of Djupviks Elektronik's other modules, but it is something special. There is a fragility in the roughness of the sound. It's almost become a meme at this point, this idea of men of a certain age investing all of their time and money into a huge modular synth or a model train set or something similar, as a way of distraction from the abyss of unacknowledged feelings inside. Grief Manual is quite the opposite. It's a Eurorack module and an album that's come about as a result of staring into that abyss and confronting whatever's there. And just after this, I will be traveling back in time and actually build the module that we are hearing right now. Do stick around till the end for more playing around. There's also a mildly amusing section in the middle where I divulge anecdotes about Holmsund, the town from which Djupviks Elektronik comes. I'm going to try and build Djupviks Grief Manual. If future me has not failed dramatically, there should have been a clip of it working just before now, so that's good. Grief Manual is a wave destroyer made out of 3 main parts: an analog neuron circuit with feedback, a complex wave shaper, a square wave oscillator that can also work as an LFO, and a clocked digital noise signal, all working together to fudge up your signal / create weird, beautiful stuff. This is a former toilet and I'm Dyngherren. Welcome to my DIY dungeon. Right, let's see what we have in terms of parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pots, 5 jacks and 2 switches. Seems about right. Looks like I have everything. Right, need one more thing which I didn't have here, which is the power header. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. Here's the IC, a CD4006BE. Great. Let's get soldering. Before I get too far, I have to be honest though, when planning this video, I immediately realized 3 quite big problems. Problem number 1. This module is not even a DIY kit. So how do I make it at all relevant to anyone? This one is quite easy to tick off, as in one way it doesn't really matter because all the Djupviks builds are pretty much the same. When you're doing a DIY build, always follow the build guide. As there isn't one available here, I'm going to use the classic technique: get all the bits in the PCB and then solder them stuck. Djupviks Elektronik operates out of Djupvik, a part of the town Holmsund, downriver from Umeå in Västerbotten, North Sweden. A town probably best known internationally as the undisputed Twin Peaks of Sweden. Sawmill town, near some falls, about 5,000 inhabitants, and full of quirky characters interested in Eastern wisdom traditions. The mill itself was established by James Dixon & Co. in 1883, and if that name rings a bell, it's probably because you've been reading up about baggböleri on Wikipedia again. Illegal logging, timber barons, crown forests disappearing at suspicious speed, eventually becoming shorthand for people in the north quietly being talked out of their forests, only for them to somehow reappear as prosperity, often considerably further south. Hardly worth mentioning, but not to upset the hardcore Västerbottennats, Holmsund and the wider Umeå region has also had a minor impact on the heavier music scene through obscure local acts such as Refused, Mycket and Cult of Luna. It's also an IKEA sofa. And now it's time to get the panel on, which brings me to my second problem. I've started to put together a case, or not a case, but 2 rows of all my Djupviks modules. So I have these nice 2 rows of red. And as you can see, this panel is very nice, but quite clearly not red, it's white. Fortunately, as the circuit is partly based on non-linear circuits neuron, I'm telling myself that I can, with good conscience, place it together with my non-linear circuits modules. Yeah, I'm thinking it's quite probable that I have forgotten to mention quite a few things, because as I'm not following a build guide, I'm sort of, freebasing. Hang on. I'm sure Jonas doesn't want these bloody things on there, so let's skip them. Great, and the LED, we want that sticking out as well, perfect. Okay, let's solder this bit as well. Cool, just gonna plug it in and see that everything is working. Red stripe down, great. Okay. Yep, signs of life. First, I'm just gonna plug this in and see that there's sound. That's a good start. There is sound. Maybe remove a little bit of that reverb. So yeah, I mean, obviously, I guess the sort of main use I'm thinking for this is as a sort of audio manipulator, taking a signal in and sort of ruining it. But obviously it could be a CV wave destroyer as well. It could be that's cool. Yeah, let's try the other way around. Let's try it as a CV source as well. So we have the DPO going in here. Let's just add like an LFO or something so it's not so horribly the same all the time. And then let's use this output to manipulate. What should we manipulate? The volt proctave. Wow. Let's do it through the linear FM here so I can have control of the how much. Okay, I'll try using this output also for this filter. Okay, I'm just getting into sort of weird hum slash water dripping on a metal roof kind of territory now. Maybe that's a good place as any to give up. It's working. Let's play a bit more later. I probably have something more important to say. So, yeah. And now we get to my final and perhaps biggest problem. I need to figure out a way to talk about grief in a dignified way whilst wearing chainmail and putting these guys on. This module and the accompanying album with the same name came about during Jonas Djupviks Elektronik own process of grief. Grief over his father's passing. The album sits in the same tradition as much of Jonas Rosén's other work in Sensatesta, Phaedros, Data, 70 and related projects. It moves through long repetitive sequences, distorted pulses and moments of strange warmth. Like something hovering between Berlin School Kosmische, lost dystopian anime soundtracks and the lonelier corners of new age music. And on this new record there are these piercing high-pitched drones accompanied by intermittent flourishes of squeals lying on top of everything throughout most of it, like something or someone constantly trying to break through, something you can't shy away from, gritty and noisy, but there's also beauty and hope underneath. And as for the module, the pseudo-random patterns and especially the sudden spikes and jabs from the neuron circuit feels as good a metaphor as any for grief. Let's have a play. So here I'm running bread and butter through clump into grief manual and onwards. It's doubled by DPO. Just think it's kind of funny shoving this kind of bread and butter random general MIDI sounds through. Okay, one more test. I'm just going to try running something in my lo-fi sampler through the grief manual as well. I thought it would be really nice to test Grief Manual together with Clump. Clump is a matrix mixer and all the channels are CV controllable. And it's just really nice to use to sort of send voices to an effect and then back into the mixer. You get different sort of feedback setups. So right now I have the DPO as the main voice, and it's going into the clump, and can't quite remember now, but it's going into Grief Manual and it's going into R+ as well, and both of them are going back into the mixer, so I can get these kind of weird feedback things going on. mean, this is a quite subtle use of grief manual, but generally that is sort of what I love about Djupviks modules, using them as a sort of textural flavor in a patch, sort of like this. I've been doing Herren. This is Djupviks grief manual. All the boring bits you can find in the thingy below, and thanks for watching.